Welcome to Made by Marley Week. Terry and I would like to show you another project that I have made with some of our new things from our new autumn and winter collection. So watch on and see what I've been doing. Okay, so this project is an interesting one. I had put these half beads that I got from Amazon and I put it around the side just to give it an interest. It's just a little old wooden box that I picked up in a kind of junkyard place. I think it was probably about a £5 or a tenner. Not expensive, but it needed a little bit of bougieing up. So I put these on it and I painted it red because I was going to put my nutcracker paper on it, but I realised I was going to have to cut their legs off, and you can't have legs being cut off a nutcracker. So I decided to paint it cream instead. So I used Annie Sloan's Old Ochre, which is the cream paint, and I've given it one coat just over the red just now. What I'm going to be using today is the paper Winter Wings. So this beautiful angel, this beautiful angel, and this beautiful angel. I thought these little sparkles that I've put on it and balls and things, I thought I'll make these glittery and do something with them. So first paper I'm going to be using is this one here, but I only want kind of probably about this much for the top. So I'm just going to kind of put my glasses on, that might help. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to just rip her across there and rip this edge just to make it easy for blending, because I think you know what's going to happen next. She's going to go on the top. Why am I ripping? If you're new to Made by Marley, it's much easier to blend ripped paper than a cut edge. If you try and blend a cut edge, it always shows, whereas this way it's a way to kind of get rid of the tails. But we'll have different things on these transitions as well. So I think our positioning there is pretty good. I'm still using my homemade Mod Podge, although I appear to have lost the brush for it. This one here will do. So you need a nice smooth brush for application, so just give it a start. And now I'm going to be applying my glue across the top of my surface where my paper goes. Now at first I just need to get the glue on. I'm not bothered about its position or how thick or thin it is. You just need to get your glue on. I always go much wider than my shape, the paper, because then you know that your edges are catered for. And once you've got it on, just smooth it all around so that you've not got these big lines, because that will show through your paper. So how I do that is I go the opposite way and I kind of do a much lighter stroke. Now glue has been applied, and I think I'll stand up because if not I'll get it completely not centered. Starting from the center and just smooth it out right to the edges. That is it. There isn't anything else to Made by Marley. Now when you see wrinkles, now there are no wrinkles now, so you know you've done it right. Don't be tempted to keep touching it or rubbing it or doing lots of things with it. You've applied it. It is fine. It is going to naturally wrinkle. It will wrinkle because it's paper on water. But once those wrinkles come up and it goes back down, it will be completely smooth. So you don't have to worry about that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rest of the lovely set of these lovely girls, and I'm going to put one here, one on the back, and I'll maybe break out another set of paper and put one here and one here. Okay, and then we'll come back to do the blending, right? Because I'm only using half of each sheet and the legs and the bits at the bottom have been left over, I've just kept them all, and I mean, you can't tell that that's the legs. I mean, this bit here, I just cut the feet out because it's obviously that way round. So I thought, I can't get a full angel on, but what I thought I would do is just put pieces in parts and tie it together somehow when I put this whole thing together. I thought that would be a kind of nod to the sides and the top. So I'll just show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bit of something, smooth out my glue. Now then, I'd already cut that bottom part so that I knew that it fitted around the handle, but it just happened to be convenient that that's where her feet were. Alright, okay. Happy with that. Other parts still have here that I can make work. It's just about, you know, filling up the space and it kind of working with what you've got. Let's take this along here and cut this and put this bit up here. I'm just going to put a bit more glue up here. I don't think I did. There we go. Just rip around this handle. We'll paint in beside there. And what else can we mix and match? Some flowery stuff here. It's just not flowery, leafy. It's just kind of like a wee bit of a jigsaw. Making sure that it's all stuck down, though that's important. I must admit, when I did all the trials for the glue for my decoupage paper, there was a reason why Mod Podge won out, and this Mod Podge doesn't make it as, it still wrinkles when it's wet, but it doesn't make it as moist, because this is a bit more of a moist sort of kind of glue, but I mean, we can make it work. Yeah, so this is what I'm doing on the sides. I'm going to get on now. Now you can see that I'm putting it together like a jigsaw puzzle, and how I'm gluing this together so that we can paint around it. Just making sure that you smooth it down. Take that a little bit. Right there, and I've gone to I could put this bit here, see? There we go. We'll see how we put all that together when it comes to painting it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it will possibly work. I think I can make it work. And don't mind the rips either. So, right, I'm going to do this on the other side. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to come back. I'm going to start blending it. Okay? Okay, my decoupage isn't quite dry, but let's start blending this out. So the majority I'm going to try and do my blend to about here, and then I'm going to try and get a purpley colour going out to the green. That is the hope. But, you know, now I'm just going to take it slightly in. Now, I put these cracks on it. I might come back and put more cracks, my own other cracks on it, but right now, for the sake of blending this in, let's just kind of do this just now. I'll only do one side, because then you'll know what I'm doing with the whole box once I get one side done. Now, this is where you pity patter across your transitions. Now, I'm going from this colour, so let's just put another line of this here, because the whole box has to be redone with the cream anyway, or whatever colour I'm using. So let's just... There's a bit of brown in my brush, which is actually working in my favour, so I'm not going to complain about it. Right, so that's that. Now, I need this sort of blue, so I'm thinking a little bit of Frida blue. Again, these are all Annie Sloan paints, and a little bit of Whistler's grey. And then maybe some cream. Let's see. Put some cream on my palette. Well, Old Ochre. Put that over there. Let's see what I'm going to do. This one, I think. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. See if I can get it just about right. Too light now. Joy of mixing colours. You just have to stick with the process. Do you know what? I'm going to run with this. So this is going to be my line here. I want a little bit more of the blue in it. Do you know what? I could be cheeky and just quickly dip my brush. Oh, see, in the black. There we go. Right, okay, so now we've got a great big huge stripe, and that ain't pretty, is it? So we're going to go back to our cream brush now. Put our cream up beside it. Yeah? And then let's start doing something about this. So I'm going to swirl this down here because I want a cloudy blend. Up through the darkest shade. Now I want it to get darker, so let's not fiddle around with that bit too much. Let me just get a different brush here, which I'm going to dip in the cream, and I'm going to swirl this, the lightest edge out to here. Now let's just bring some of this because I want some of this up round the top. I want to kind of create a sort of almost a circle, so I'm stealing from here to pull this along. Whilst trying not to interfere with the darkest, like this dark shade here, we'll get to that in a minute, but we're just trying to put this lighter in here. And then now we're going to be doing both of them together. If you feel you need a little bit of water in your brush and it's pulling a little bit, that's okay, you can do that. Now once I get to this stage, what I like to do is I like to get I think it just fell off the table. Actually, I'll use this one here. I just need a bigger brush now, and I'm just cleaning it off. It had cream on it anyway, that's fine, but let me just, because I want to really kind of schmoozy this together now, so that the transitions are not so noticeable. Now here's as well, so but because the hair butts into the cream, we really have to go back to the cream brush. So this is the cream with the blue on it, so let's just take that to there. And I think beyond, even though my paper's not quite dry, let's just, I'll maybe put a wee bit of sage green in there as well, but right now we're going to have that there. It's lifting because it's wet, don't worry. Right, so, and then I want it to go to dark green, I think. So what I would do is, and I mean, this is just the way I would blend this out. I think it just try and keep it as simple as possible for everybody. Now, ignore my little ball things. They're not in play right now. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to go around them because I will be going back over them and making them white. But right now, for the sake of argument, let's just get rid of those. Now, because I had some of the grey blue on my brush when I put the green on, this is the sort of colour that I've ended up with, and I like it. So I want to try, you can see that there's a heck of a difference between this dark side and this side here. So how are we going to bridge that? Let's bridge it with the brush that we used to schmooze this. And I'm going to put a little bit of cream on my brush, because I know that this is going to be the one that's going to kind of, now it's got a bit like fast, so let's go into our dark and then start moving this across into this colour here. Petty pattern across there, because that's where you don't want any tails. My light isn't perfect here. I'm kind of working out. Oh. And that is pretty much how you do a sort of cloudy blend, and it's the easy way to do it. I see people making it quite complicated, but you know me, I like to make things as simple as possible. I really like this dark edge. You can darken this up a little bit more just by kind of bringing your green into it if you want to, if that is your jam. Just feel free, you know. Now it's up to you what you want to do with it. So you get the process. The same up here. I mean, my brush has got a little bit infiltrated with green now, so I'm going to try and put it back to the, I want to have this colour here on the edges to here. Yeah. But then I'm going to get a green brush. Sorry, I'm choking. I've got a bit of a cold. I just don't want to tell anybody that. Not going into our release week, but never mind. I could tell it was coming. Now, can you see? I want nicer transitions here. So I know it's damp, but it will dry. So I think to do that nicer transition, I might need to, because I don't want to lose the greenery, I might need a tiny little bit of brown. Just mix it through the cream. Oh, I need a bit browner than that. It's browner than I thought. Back to that light blue brush again. And when this all dries, it should dry just exactly the way you want it to dry. And then I'm just going to repeat it on this side. I'm going to repeat it everywhere where there's an angel. Yeah, so that I can get this sort of, I'm going to be doing this on the front and the back, and then we'll work out what we're going to do with the sides, because the sides is a bit of a jigsaw puzzle right now. So let's see how we get to doing that, okay? Okay, so I'm just showing you what I'm doing with the sides. First of all, what I'm doing is I'm putting the darkest green along here, yeah? And after that dark green, I am changing my brush and I'm going to go into my mat got a little bit messy. I'm going to be doing this grey over here. We'll get to blending that in a minute. So over here, and that's the Whistler's grey. Oh, I just touched the front there with my brush. Yeah. Make sure you've got plenty if you've got something like this with got a bit of texture. And then round we go, but we want to keep that sort of grey colour. We'll brush right over them at the end, and just so you get a different definition in these. It doesn't matter if you touch up against here, I'm not bothered about that, because we're going to be distressing that in a minute anyway. So up round here underneath, and making sure that you've got that grey blended in with your green. Need to put a little bit of grey in here just to make sure that it's a different sort of colour. These are just all the little picky parts. You don't have to do things like this. You don't even have to put the wooden knobs on, the wooden half parts of wood. At the end of the video I might show you them. I had a few left and I left them sitting so that I could show you, but goodness knows where it is now.
I know where they are.
Oh dear. Oh well, that's not so bad, Martin. Somebody knows. Right. Okay, and again, schmooze that round with your grey and blend that up into there. It's not a huge amount of definition difference, but it does make a difference, because you can see the darker green at the top, and I do think these things matter. But you know, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't bother to paint things like this all one colour. Now this is where you get a chance to see that your little bits to the side aren't done, but it doesn't matter because these are all going to be a different colour anyway. I just made them that colour for the sake of argument. Right, so we've got this far down, right, and we've got this here is really still really wet, so I think in fact it might get crumpled because we're removing it, but we'll work around that. So let's look. I've got a little bit of a dark tone along here, so I'm just going to do dark along this bottom edge because that seems to work. Like that. Then I'm going to go into the dark green and go up around this side, and this is just a jigsaw puzzle that you're trying to make work. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down in there, and you've seen me do this before. I just don't even bother cleaning my brush. I just put the glue on the painty brush, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? I think it does. I've shown you the really ugly side. The other side is really nice, but what could I do? We moved it, you see, and I said to Martin, oh, I think my paper's just got smashed with my finger. Can you fix it? And he said he did.
It was the other end that I fixed.
It's okay. It doesn't.
It was.
It doesn't matter. It's fine anyway. I'm not blaming you for anything. I think it was the moving around. Martin went out and I had to move it a few times, so. But it doesn't matter.
Yep. Doing my Dad the Taxi.
Dad the Taxi.
Dad the Taxi.
I mean, he's been chauffeuring around. Tom's been best man at a wedding this weekend. And every event that Tom's had to go to is in the middle of nowhere, because obviously we live in the middle of nowhere. So now, and last night Tom was spectacular. He was supposed to be getting a taxi back from quite a wee village, quite far away, because we'd been at the wedding too, but he said he was going to get his own way back later on, of which he phoned his dad, just as his dad was switching off the lights and coming to bed, to ask if he could pick him up. He picked him up, and then he realised that his flat keys were over at the groom's house he left in that morning, and he didn't have them. So he had to come and sleep at our house. So he slept here last night. And now he's away at another event again today. I'm like, okay. So he's off ski again. Now, what I would be tempted to do is put maybe some green shades in here. And some brown. Maybe some brown up in here. And this is just about making this jigsaw puzzle look interesting, really. It's not, it's never going to make sense because it's just lots of bits that I've ripped together. But I think by bringing in the browns, because we know we've got some brown here, there's some paper there, so let me just do a wee brown patch down there. Bringing in the brown complements those fir cones down the bottom. I'm still seeing a little bit left here. Honestly, the other side is perfect. Never mind. Shows you what to do when it goes wrong, which is literally just forge on. Right, okay. So I'll get Martin to give you a quick shimmy on that side. Quick look at that side. Yeah. And I'll turn it this way, and Martin can give you a look at the top. Oh, I think I'll turn it. Yeah. That's the top. This is the front. Yeah. And the other side.
I'll go round.
Yeah, the other side. You don't need to see the other side right now. Okay, I'm just going to clear all this blendy mess away, because the next thing I want to do is I want to stamp here. So I am going to get my own stamps, my Made by Marley stamps, out to stamp the top of this, okay? Okay, so I just want to quickly show you. These are the little wooden beads that I glued on, and I glued them straight onto the furniture before I even painted them. They were inexpensive, and I got these on Amazon. I just typed in half beads, and you can get them great big ones as well, you know, but I just wanted that size, so that makes sense now. It was for the Nutcracker chest, so that's why it had all these beads on it, but never mind, we're making it do. So exciting times. This is one of our new stamps. This one here is called Karma, and I'm just going to show you in the packet because I've already got my own. Martin says I'm only allowed one set. So this is the first one here, and we've got the peacock, and we've got all these elements. Yeah, so that's number one. Number two, we have the peacock going the other way, and we have this absolutely glorious border. I can't wait to use this border. I'm wondering if it'll fit in between here. Oh, it might, yeah. So yeah, this is Karma, okay? Now, the good thing about Made by Marley stamps is, let me just tell you, when you open them up, we've not made the plastic on the back hard. Yeah, we've made it soft. I'll tell you why. Because when you're stamping on a hard surface, this bit, quite often when you're stamping with the harder plastic on the back, you're missing the edges, but with a softer plastic, it enables you to get right round in all of the edges. Now, this hasn't been cut up because, to be honest with you, I've only done some testers because this is my first piece. So so you just peel off the front. This is your stamp. You cut them out. You do not need to sand them before you use them. I recommend Stays On ink, and you can get stays on ink refill. That's what I recommend for our stamps. And obviously you can use paint and rollers and all of those. And I'm sure as the time goes on, you'll be sick of these stamps by then, because I'm going to get as much use out of them as I can. When you've cut them all up, like I've cut mine up here, the envelope that it comes in is a waterproof envelope. This is waterproof, so you can put it back in, close the lid, stick it up on your shelf, and they're much easier to stack like that. So this stamp is called Karma, right? I'm going to get my copy, and I'm going to put Martin's one, that, because I'm only allowed one set, you know. Said, that's your set. I was like, oh, it'll be like the stencils all over again. Right, so that's the packaging, and I did them A4 because sometimes the great big stamps are maybe too big for furniture. Sometimes as well, they're not easy to store. So I think the biggest sort of element on an A4 is our big peacock, and I think that is just the right sort of size for cupboard doors and furniture. And if you have got a great big furniture, you could do a whole border with these. But yeah, flimsy back, because it enables you to really get round it all. Now, what happens if you wash them and it comes off this back? That's easy. You know tacky spray? Just spray it with tacky spray, stick it back on the back. That's it. Scrub them with a soft brush in hot soapy water, and that's how you care for them. So these are our new stamps. Did I tell you we've got new stamps? Right, okay.
How excited are you?
Oh, I've always wanted one stamps. Right, okay, so I'm going to stand up and Martin's going to come round, because I'm just going to pick which one I want to use on this. I think I've kind of almost made my mind up that I want this leaf. I could do half the flower though. Oh, see, that's the thing when you've got loads of nice new things. You can't quite make up your mind. Now, when you cut them out so that you don't have any sharp edges of plastic, because that can be quite jaggy. I think, oh, that just fell in my tea. Okay. I'm
going to film from around this side, then I'll just flip it upside down.
Okay, I want half of this. So here we go. Stamp on a hard surface. Ink your stamp up on a hard surface. So you can't see me inking this, but I am inking it.
Okay.
Can you see me? Oh, okay. And again. All of our stamps are paintable stamps, or you can stamp them, paint them, and then stamp them again. But the majority of them have got elements that you can paint. And our Blossom set, is it Blossom, Martin? Bloom. Sorry, there's been an awful lot going on here. Our Bloom set is all paintable, and that's the flower one, which you've either seen or you've yet to see. Depending on how Martin puts these out.
There's a lot of new products, isn't there?
There is. And I can only showcase so many of them. That's the thing about this. I can only do so many. Because we've got brought out quite a lot. This is our biggest release ever. So I can only do what I can do. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to get on now, and I'm going to do all of the sides, and not these sides, but this side and the front with this stamp all the way around. I think I'm going to show you the big one on here before I go away though, because you'll want to see that. Well, I want to see it. Do you want to see it, Martin?
I do.
I'll obviously put my little beads a little bit tighter on this one. I'm loving how they stamp. They just look perfect. I don't say so myself.
Don't say so yourself.
I know. I'm stamp boasting. I've always wanted stamps that I've wanted, and I think now that that I've created these, I'm thinking, now this is a little bit neat in this gap. Oop. Let's see how this one looks. Oh, Now I'm going to have to link something on here. See, I'm just going to go stamping crazy now, but you can see how this is going to look when it's been stamped. So I'm going to get on, stamp the rest of it, and we'll be back, and then we're going to deal with these little bumpy half beads that weren't supposed to be there in the first place. So I'm really thrilled with my stamps. They stamp so wonderfully, and if you look at them, there's not bits that haven't stamped. They're all what I would say perfect. They're easy to use, they're usable, they're user friendly, and they're bohemian, they're different, they're unusual, and it's just what I think what we want. Okay, so in here I've got some Annie Sloan's pearlescent glaze, and I've just added some iridescent glitter, and I'm just going to add a little bit more to this, because this is for my sparkly bead, half beads. So and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these a, oh, I've got a bit much on my brush actually. I'm just going to give these a little bit of glittery shine right now. I'm wondering whether I should also, let me just see with this lid, I'm just going to put a little bit of, and see whether tapping some of this on as well. I want them to be sparkly because the paper's got a little bit of sparkle in it, and I think, you know, let's just, it is Christmassy, it is angels, so I think that you should have a bit of sparkle when it comes to Christmas. So literally I am just going to go round all of my little pieces, my little half beads that I've put on, and maybe make it a bit smoother. I think it's the glitter that I put in it that's making it a little bit chunky. Because I just want these to sparkle, and I think this is already doing what I would hoped it would do. We are going to put some mistletoe, some green, sort of light green mistletoe onto here, I think, I don't know yet, but this is what I'm going to do with all my little baubles, because I just want it to be sparkly and shiny and glittery. And that is what Christmas is about, is it not?
It is.
It is sparkly and shiny.
And glittery.
And glittery, yeah. And not forget glittery. I was at a wedding, well, I told you I was at a wedding. I was at a wedding, and the person that was talking to outside said they didn't like glitter. I looked at them and I said, say that again? She said, I don't like glitter. And I went, why not? And she said, it makes a mess. And I went, lots of things make a mess, but you know, glitter. I was like, oh, I love glitter. I said, I don't use it a lot on my furniture. It's not something I do, but when I'm crafting, and especially at Christmas, I'm all over the glitter. Yeah. Right, okay, I'm going to keep going with these little glittery baubles, and I shall be back. Okay, so I've went a little bit glittery crazy, and I decided that I was going to put something up in here where that leaf was, but I've decided that I really quite like this, just with the pearlescent paint with the glitter in it, and I ran it all up the edges like this, and I'm just going to thicken it up a little bit to make it look frosty, and I think that kind of goes with the look. And then once all this is dry, I'm going to be sealing it and staging it out with French Chic Tough Top Coat. So and if you don't know what that looks like, this is it here, because I'm asked all the time about my sealer. So I'll be sealing it with this once all this beautiful glazy glory has been dried. But I've just been layering it up nice and thick, and I thought this looks really sort of magical and sort of festive and almost snow-like, so, or definitely ice-like. So I don't think you can have too much of this joy. That's all I'm saying. So, and I'm thickening up round about the little dotty parts as well, the little wooden beads. I'm just, as I said, I just went glittery crazy. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll be at staging. Okay, so our chest is finished. It's all been sealed. Pretty simple to do. Popped on my angels, did my blending round about it. I used our Karma leaves and flowers from the Karma stamp set, and then I added some iridescent glitter into some Annie Sloan's pearlescent glaze to get the sparkly snow effect, and I think it's very classy and beautiful, and it will look lovely underneath a Christmas tree with a nice big blue bow for somebody that you loved with their gifts inside it. So Take note, Martin. Although I don't want that one. You have to make me one. So anyway, that is our box for today. See you tomorrow.